to EEKS Living, where we shine so bright. She goes the host, making everything feel just right. Love, laughter, and glow, that's what we're all about. Come on, join our family, let's really shine. Games and challenges, excitement in the air, friends and guests joining us everywhere. From cooking to crafting, we'll try it all, creating memories together.
That is why it is easy for a woman brain to stay that young,
Yeah.
because if you look at women, we tend to do several things even at a later age and not keep forgetting and all that. Yeah, so the brain of this child, at we pay any new information, this child is just noting those things that are in the TV, and it's a repetition most of the time. You can attest to that. Okay.
True.
And then there is addiction in it, so that addiction keeps that child always watching that one thing and doesn't have any new information introduced to the brain. This child, what do they know? They will not know how to give feedback, for example, in a conversation, because they are just tapping what is in the TV. So having a conversation like we are talking, you're listening to me, I'm listening to you, giving me a high contact, you know how to respond yes or no, you know how to, like give a feedback of any, like I'm calling your name Rachel, and you say yes or yes, ma'am. So this child doesn't know that kind of conversation. They can sing, they can do several small other things. But when you try to put, because you're supposed to build on what is there.
Yeah.
So as a therapist, when I'm trying to build what the speech that is there or the communication that this child does, when I'm trying to build it to a certain level, it doesn't work, because they are not able to put this into perspective, into the normal human environment. Yes. So it gets difficult for them to even interact in class, interact with other kids, because what have they been interacting with? It's the TV and the gadgets. To withdraw pole pole. Yeah. So that this child will not be frustrated when you withdraw it completely. Then also let's also substitute. Okay. Don't just go with the draw TV. You're not giving this child options. So with the draw the TV, give the blocks. With the draw the TV, give a book if they can read. With the draw the TV, take them out for the playground. Don't just withdraw the TV alafu mmeketi mmeangaliana. A child mind is always involved with play, because that is their occupation. So substitute that TV with something constructive. People say, oh, modeling is expensive. The plasticine. They call it modeling. Modeling is expensive. Is what? You don't need the modeling. Okay, go out there. Bonda matope. See, we used to play
That's
with
how we
matope.
grew up. Plasticine
And
tumekuja
kuziona
kuziona.
huku juu, si ndio?
Yeah.
We have mothers who know how to crochet. Crochet have very nice sensory ball. Let the kids, if they are other siblings. In fact, when we are doing assessment, one of the clause, it asks how many siblings are in the family. It's so that when I'm making a treatment plan and I'm giving a parent a home program, I know, I have in mind who is going to be playing with this child. If the interaction is the problem, who is going to be playing with this child? And if there is no siblings, wewe mama utacheza na huyu mtoto. Cha lazima, because that is where my goals are going to be achieved. Everything about a child is achieved during play. Hata huyo mtoto wako kama anashika kijiko anakula, it started by being able to hold that toy and release. Okay. So how do we eat? You hold, put down, and when you want to rest, you release the spoon and go back. How did the child learn? We look at the crawling. When the child starts crawling, a lot of people say, oh, mtoto wangu alisimama tu. But that crawling, we call it tummy time for the child who has not started crawling. This child will start manipulating things from the crawling. okay? Or when they are on tummy. Let the child be on tummy, give them the toys in front. They will be able to be manipulating things as they are. If you go keenly into books, you will find that a child that has crawled, you know, will not have difficult issues with handwriting. Yeah, because all those achievements and the milestones were most of them achieved during crawling.
Yeah.
You know, I will tell a parent that crawling can be achieved through placing the child on the tummy. That is what the parent is supposed to do at home for home program. But as a therapist, I'm looking also at the visual attention of that child.
Well, I'm feeling autism is such a broad topic, something that requires a whole topic. And I think we'll just come back again and just discuss about that. But it will be unfair to leave viewers without knowing these virtual autism. Does it get better? Does this child get better, or now you just have to face the fact that that's how the child is?
Okay, not only virtual autism, also the autism spectrum disorder itself, children improve. We will not cure it completely, but there are some improvements you see. Yeah, there are new things that the child start learning, and actually we have introduced, reintegrated so many children in schools. And virtual autism is fully reversible, but a parent has to put the effort, you know, of now that producing the screen, controlling the screen, and bringing the child for therapy. But autism spectrum disorder, the child will live with it, but there will be improvement. Okay, that will allow the child now calm down, settle down, be compatible, social interactive with other kids. They may not be fully socially interactive, but at least they can they can sit in that environment, the class environment, the many students environment, you know, and they can learn. Actually, children with autism are very good with technology, fixing things, small things, you know. Like I remember when I was out for studies, and my lecturer told me that, you know, the guy who is going to fit my vehicle is a person with autism, and only he deals with the sensors. So you find big farms in Europe, in the US, they pick such specific people because they are so articulate. They are so focused in that one thing that is supposed to be done perfectly. They will do it perfectly. So what I would encourage parents is take kids for therapy. When it's time to integrate them to school, let them go to school. Because that is going to help this child improve and get, probably as they carry on with the studies, we will know which is their line. The beauty of CBC now, it's according to which is your talent, which is this that you're able to do better. And I think that will also help a lot of kids with ASD. Yes.
As you're about to meet a very special guest
Yes.
that you've arranged for us, and we are very honored for that. Very, very, very beautiful girl. Perhaps we can talk just a little bit about before we meet her. What does Anna have, and what's her progress so far?
I don't even know if I mentioned Down syndrome when I was mentioning the conditions.
I
because
think we did.
These conditions are so
There are
many.
so many. I'm
Yeah.
realizing now that there are so many.
Yeah, these conditions are so many. So she has a Down syndrome, and Down syndrome is a genetic disorder. So it's a development that happens, or a condition that happens, or development delays, whichever way we can put it, because of genetics, where the child during the genetic formation is born with an extra chromosome 21. Okay, so that's basically Down syndrome. And Down syndrome comes with different characteristics. And these kids, I normally say they are the sweetest because they are always smiling, laughing, and all that. So a child with Down syndrome, you will notice they have smaller eyes and they are slanted upward slanted. And then for their palms, they will have only one palm. Okay. And then also their two joints are very loose. So when they sit, you think like ni kama ana mifupa. Okay. Their skin is also a little bit loose. You will find their ears also are small. And also some you see that the skin is other than being loose, it's also flaky, you know, and some grow in a short stature, and others, most of them have a short stature. Yes. So Tanya is a beautiful girl. Yeah. You will love staying with her. You will have getting entertained by her. She's always full of vibes and smiles, I would say. She just joined our daycare this year. Yes.
And so, just like you've mentioned about the daycare part, I know they are going to have questions. We're going to have questions of what do you mean by daycare? So, like, what do you literally mean by daycare at Furaha?
Our daycare activity, we actually don't charge, but is only for exceptional children. So we have children with different conditions. We have cerebral palsy, we have autism, we have a Down syndrome now, like now we have one with delayed milestones. We have one with delayed milestones post nutrition issues. So we have different conditions here in the center. And every goal for this child is different. Every child has their own set of goals. You see, because there are those who are here for toilet training and they still go for therapy. There are those that are here for feeding. Now those are the activities of daily living that I'm talking about. There are those who are here to grade their timing. You know, like we are used to a lot of grading, occupational therapists, because you have to grade also the timing. How long can this child stay in class? Then you put that into school perspective, whereby a break is at 9 from morning, another break is at this time. So how long are we able to sustain that child in class? Our daycare is not just daycare. It's like a preparatory ground to prepare this child to go to school. Because, you know, most of the schools that we have around, they don't accept children on diapers. They don't accept a child who does not feed themselves. They don't accept a child who cannot sit and settle in class. Sio kupenda kwao, it's reason being that they don't have the capacity. Because now you look, if you need to have a class with like 4 ADHD kids or 4 autism kids, you will need 3 teachers. Because like it's like every 3 kids needs 1 teacher, you know. So to handle other kids and to handle this, you know, so it's because of the capacity. And probably they are also not all teachers are trained special education teachers. So we help these kids to be able to prepare them to be able to run with the school activities. Yes.
And now with the improvements that she's made so far, is it something that you think that someday she's going to go to school? And are you able like to put timelines, or you just flow with how it goes?
Yeah, we don't use timelines, but we have goals that we need to meet when we have each and every child. And one of our goals is to help Anna stand on herself. She's already standing and moving.
I saw that.
She's already standing and moving with things. So we are hoping for the next is ajiachilie, which can take a very long time. Because that's why we don't say, okay, huyu mtoto atajiachilia kesho. You know, sometimes you can predict that huyu mtoto by 1 month atakuwa amesimama. But when now with the exceptional kids, we don't give those timelines. You do your best, you give your best, and wait for results. Yes.
Wow. And now you, as before we let you go, with all that and I remember it's a question I asked you even before we started the interview. Has there been a moment in your work that or are there times, as much as you're already versed with all the conditions, that you meet maybe a child and it breaks your heart, you feel this one, no, this one is too much?
Yeah. You know, I tell people this and they get mad with me that we are all candidates of disability.
Yeah.
So when you see a child out there or a person out there with a disability,
Yeah.
treat them with all respect. Remembering that tomorrow you may be in that position. Every time, even when I get to the therapy session, even when I am handling a parent, I handle them how I would have to be, how I would love to have been handled
Yeah.
if I'm the one in that position. Because Rachel, look at it like this. You have a 16-year-old girl tomorrow, anaenda kupanda mti, falls down, gets hit on the head or gets a spinal cord injury. That's a candidate, sindio?
Yeah.
And then also a child get a TB, it goes to the brain. Then what happens? There will be no difference between that person, big difference, tuseme, between that person who acquired it and the one who was born with cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
The features, most of the characteristics will be the same. Okay?
Yeah.
Or you get you get a cerebral malaria or meningitis. Even as an adult, it will throw you very fast to disability. So as we go out here, we should always remember we are candidates. And for me, my most devastating moment, which happens most of the time, is seeing a child come to the center. The parent is so hopeful, you know, that my child was in class 6 and this has happened and will go back to normal, you know. I pray for you, my child, you are going to go back to normal. So when you try to tell this parent, okay, you don't just tell, okay, but as you run also you weigh. This is where you weigh a lot of words. You weigh what is coming out of your mouth, you know, because you can either break the hearts of these people or you can build it. And also, you don't want to lie. Because I cannot tell this parent that ni ukweli. Next year hivi time kama hii, huyu mtoto wako atatembea ama ataketi ama atasimama. Because it is not within your means. You know, your work is to do therapy, sindio? But then also, as you're doing therapy, you're supposed to give these parents hope. And in the same hope, you're not supposed to lie to them. You have to tell them the truth at some point. You need to give leads, you know, that also bring them close to understanding. Why is my child like this? That you may even end up doing therapy for the rest of the life of this child. But you can't just give that information, you see. So you get so stressed also as a therapist. You start now wondering, this parent vile amekaza hivi that this child is going to stand up and walk again. And you know, the part of the brain that has been affected.
There's no reversing that.
Chances, you know,
Yeah.
as much as we are talking about neuroplasticity, chances are
Very
almost
slim.
minimal. So what you're just supposed to be giving is maintenance therapy, and you're not supposed to give that information. You know, another thing that devastates me the most is
Ilikuja na meli.
ilikuja na meli. Hata hiyo si mimi nilikuwa sema imekuja na maji. Yes, yeah. So another thing is the death of children. You achieve a lot. You get into milestones. This child, you introduce them to, they're already in school, maybe CP, maybe hydrocephalus, maybe with Down syndrome, and they're already integrated in school. You're already seeing light ahead of that tunnel, and that child dies. That breaks my heart. Actually, the most. I'm saying this because our first child, kama vile mnasema 001, our 001 came when he was very small. and that boy died. If you go to our therapy room, there is one therapy room that is written Therapy Room Alvin. He died when he was already in school, talking, preaching, you know. He was in a wheelchair, yes, but the milestones he had made, you know, if you knew him when he was small and at that point, then you would tell that we all had the what do I call it? Even the words have started missing. We all had we all were supposed to feel that way.
Yeah.
He was already in school, and then he gets the meningitis comes back again because it was CP post meningitis. The meningitis eats him again. It occurs again. Unaona? And that took that boy.
Yeah.
Okay. He was already in school, out of the hands of the mom, out of Fura Center, discharged to school, and he dies.
Yeah.
When someone comes and asks you, he used to come from school and ask you, Makena, uko tu hapa? You know, when he visits,
Yeah.
Makena, uko tu hapa? And then that day because we allow children when they have been integrated to school also to come, they can come for therapy when the schools are closed. So he used to come, you know,
Yeah.
and then this child dies. That is the saddest thing that I have ever, you know, you don't even know how to deal with it. Sometimes it's like your hope is, you know,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
being reduced, but then
Yeah.
you keep moving, you keep, you know,
Yeah.
because you have to bring more other kids to line,
Yeah.
into fruition,
I
yeah.
felt that one.
Yes.
Yeah, that one is deep, 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 deep. I can't, I cannot even imagine the kind of, you know, apart from the education side of it, apart from you going to school, you also have to master kind of courage to keep on going, keep on seeing these kids. And having seen, when I came in, I met some of them, and it's so humbling, and you find every reason to thank God. If you're out there, you have a child that is doing everything by themselves, trust me, you have a reason to thank God. Because we think ni kawaida,
Ni
unajua,
kawaida,
unafikiria ni kawaida, nitapata mtoto atafanya everything else, but doesn't always happen. And thank you so much for even having that heart to do it, you and Malik, and even the therapists that are here. And thank you even for allowing us to be here today.
You're welcome
And
anytime.
yes. I feel we need to come often. We need to demystify all these things that are eating up our community.
Absolutely.
And also, you know, talk more about cerebral palsy and everything else that you've mentioned. And may God bless you so much, and
And
for
you
her
too.
center as a whole. And maybe as a parting shot, you can tell us as a community, how can we help Furaha, you know, reach their goal, and even now maintain Furaha, because like you've mentioned, you run a non-profit organization.
Yes,
so
yes,
how
yes.
can the community at large help Furaha?
Yeah, out there, we don't charge for our daycare. So if you bring food, we are happy. And maybe probably what I can invite people, we normally have walks every year, but this time we are not doing the walk. We are doing the groundbreaking ceremony because we want to have a modern rehab center for kids with the special needs and adults too. As you have seen that we don't have a big space that we can handle many adults. And mostly we deal with the children. So we are groundbreaking. We have a groundbreaking ceremony and a fundraiser for building this center to be in Ruiru. And also we allow people to visit us, volunteers, and also we host social workers and occupational therapists on attachments, and internship, which we do openly because we know this is where also us we had to learn as a student, because that's the ground, you know, that's the ground. So we also have our pay bill numbers that if one can support the center with, probably we will give you so that we can show
we'll
it
put them
somewhere.
down,
Yes, and we also take, like, we have 3 clinics. We have a clinic here, we have a clinic in Mekindori, now Meru sub-county in Laisamis, Marsabit. And in Marsabit now there are 2. We have Logologo and Laisamis Mission Hospital, whereby we have our clinics there. And there those families need also stuff like clothes so that they can bring their kids washable diapers. We prefer washable for such places because also, you know, it's sustainability.
Yes,
You can't sustain the normal diapers for a very long time.
True.
So such activity materials like play blocks, you know, swing, hammock, that is our ground. Of the things that we would appreciate. Yes. Not limited to, of course. Yes. Yes. But you can also share our number. That someone, if someone wants to reach us, bringing also the child for therapy, because our therapies are not charged. We offer therapies for free. Yes.
Thank you so much, Makena.
Asante.
And may God bless you and continue strengthening you to do this work. And we are hoping and wishing you success on the groundbreaking. And may it go all to plan. Thank you so much for hosting us today.
Thank you so much, Asante.
So let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll meet the beautiful girl that I mentioned and her grandma.
To EEKS Living, where we shine so bright. She goes the host, making everything feel just right. Love, laughter, and glow, that's what we're all about. Come on, join our family, let's really shine. Games and challenges, excitement in the air. Friends and guests joining us everywhere, from cooking to crafting. We'll try it all, creating memories together.
This is our beautiful girl and Shosho. So Shosho, imekuwaje kukuwa na imekuwaje kukuwa na mtoto wako hadi saa hii? Ni challenges gani unapitia?
Imekuwa kwanza, kitu ya kwanza ningependa kuchukua hii nafasi, nishukuru watu wa Furaha Center, the director, CEO, and the entire team ya Furaha Center, kwa kazi ambayo wanafanya. Kuzisi kazi ambayo ya kuajiliwa ni kama kujitolea. Wanafanya kazi wakiwa na a lot of love, yenye hakuna mahali pengine nimeipata tangu nipatwe na shida yenye niko nayo. Nimetembea mahali kwingi, lakini sijapatana na timu nyingine ya maana. Kitu yenye iko kwa roho yangu, kwanza nataka kushukuru watu wa Furaha Center, the director, the CEO, the entire team ya Furaha Center. Iko na therapist, iko na walimu, iko na chef ambaye anashughulikia watoto ambaye wanaletwa kwao kukula na kukunywa. Hao watu kwangu si watu ambaye wanasajiliwa. Kozi nimetembea mara kwingi niko na mtoto ambaye niko naye, ambaye ako na shinda, ambaye niliambiwa ako na shinda ya grade milestone, of which wakati nilimchukua nilikuja kudialize, hii inaitwa grade milestone. After kutembea kwa madaktari kadhaa, nimekuja kujua ako na shinda ambaye ingekosa therapist hangeweza kutembea vizuri. Na nimeenda hospitali kadhaa, na mali nimeenda hizo hospitali zote, mahali nimekuja kwa mwisho, nimekuja kudirectiwa na daktari fulani wa kutoka Mikiduli hapa Kahaga kwa Furaha, inaitwa Furaha Center, ambaye inafanya watoto ambaye hawana furaha kwa maisha yao wakuwe na furaha. Ndio sababu nimesema ninashukuru hao watu, the director, CEO, the entire team ya Furaha Center kwa kazi nzuri ambayo wanafanya. Hao watu huwezi waajili, kusioni pesa ambayo unaweza patia hao watu wenye wako kwa hiyo center ambayo inaweza waridhisha kwa maisha yao. Lakini ni kitu ambayo wamewekewa ndani yao na Mungu, ambayo wanafanya kazi ambaye Mungu tu ndiye anaweza walipa. Hakuna mtu mwingine anaweza walipa. Wamejitolea, kwa wale watoto wanaletoa, hata we mwenyewe ukiwaangalia, mimi niliona ikiwa kazi gumu sana. Especially mimi mahali wamenitoa, nilikuja January this year, the year 2024. Na nikakuja na mtoto ambaye hawezi shika kitu atembee, hawezi zisimamisha ye mwenyewe. Kwa hivyo the first day wakati nilimlete alilia for 2 hours. Huyu mtoto nowadays amekuwa a very afraid of them. Nikifika kwa mlango yeye atakanga tu kushuka ndiye aende mahali wako. Kulingana na ile kazi wamemfanyia, ni mtoto ambaye atatembea anytime. And I thank them. Yes.
Na sasa shosho, ukaa na mtoto.
Yes.
Inakubidi ukue hapo all the time ama unaendangaje?
Kabla nikuje Furaha Center ilikuwa inanibidi nikae na huyo mtoto throughout. Singemwacha. Ningemwacha ningekuwa nimemweka kwa kiti, niende tu mahali, niende hata kama ni kitchen, nimpikie kitu, nimletee juu hataweza kujitoa kwa hiyo kiti. Kitangu nimlete furaha. Huyo mtoto nowadays isipokuwa tu kusimama na miguu yake, kutembea na magoti anaweza enda a kilometer and above. That's why ninasikia tu kwa roho yangu ninawashukuru au watu wako hapo wote. Kwa hivyo siku hizi nikimweka kwa kiti siwezi mweka kwa kiti nimwache. Hapana. Anaweza sasa nimshike niende na yeye. Kuzi nikimwacha hapo hata nipata ama nimpate amefanya maneno mengine kwa nyumba yenye haitakuwa sawa. Yes.
So wewe vile yuko saa hii kuna improvement kubwa sana kutoka na vile ulikuja.
Ningekuwa nimejua hapa last year the year 2023 hamunge nipata Furaha the year 2024. No. Ningekuwa mbali sana. Lakini Mungu acheleangwi, anakujanga wakati wake ukifika. That's why nilikuja kujua Furaha Center the year 2024. Yes.
Na unawezaje ambia wazazi wengine wenye labda wanafungia watoto kama hawa, hawataki kutoka na watoto, wengine wanaona aibu, anaona ataangaliwa na watu, unaweza waambia nini?
Ile kitu naweza waambia wale wazazi, ukipata mtoto na uone huyu mtoto ako nyuma na kitu fulani kulingana na miezi yake venye inaenda, ningewaomba tafadhali usifungie mtoto kwa nyumba, sababu si wewe ulijipatia huyo mtoto. Huyo mtoto Mungu alikupea with a purpose. Hata huyu wangu mimi ninasema nilipatiwa, alikuja tu with a purpose, sababu maybe kwa familia kuna mtu ambaye hajui Mungu, lakini atakuja kujua Mungu through that child. Hata majirani maybe kuna walikuwa nasema Mungu hakuna kitu anaweza fanya, hawajui Mungu, lakini mimi nawaambia Mungu hako na anapeananga mtoto with a purpose. Hakuna kitu ambaye inaweza fanyika kwako ikose kuwa na purpose kutoka kwa Mungu. Kwa hivyo ukipata mtoto mwenye utapata shukuru, sababu kunaye anatafuta kama huyo unaona kuna shinda unamfungia na anakosa. Wewe umepata, ambia Mungu thank you in the first place. Sababu Biblia inatuambia chochote ambaye utapitia kumbuka kuambia Mungu asante, na atakukumbuka na atakufanyia maneno mengi ambaye hungeweza kufikiria wewe mwenyewe. Au wazazi wengine kama huyu mtoto wangu venye mnaona, wazazi wake venye walimpata hawakujua kama mtoto ako na shinda. Daktari mwenye aliwachukulia mtoto hakuwaambia kama huyu mtoto ako na shida kubwa. Aliwaambia tu ni dread milestone na akawapatia dawa yenye mtoto waambia sasa ni hivyo. Na wao venye waliona lika ya huyu mtoto miezi inaenda, mimi nikipiga simu nikiuliza, ninaambia mtoto hana shinda, ako sawa. Na ninawauliza kuna kitu anaweza kuweka kwa mdomo na mikono yake? Hapana, shosh tunamwekea. Sasa wakaona sasa kuna shinda ako naye samao yenye hawakuwa wanataka, wakakuwa shy, sijui akaogopa, hawakuwa wanamtoa hata nje, wakakaa na mtoto kwa nyumba. Akakaa kwa nyumba. That is the moment niliendea huyo mtoto, hata mimi nilistuka na nikasikia vibaya. Wakati niliingia na huyo mtoto kwa gari the first time, huyo mtoto alikuwa anafunika uso, hangetaka kuonwa na mtu yoyote. Sasa yenye anafunika uso, watu kwa gari wananiangalia na shinda, na huyu mama amebeba mtoto ambaye amejifunika kwani ameiba. Sasa nikiona watu wananiangalia sana, mimi nilikuwa namuita, shosha amuka muangalie. Mimi ndio nilifundisha huyo mtoto kukaa na watu, na kwa gari akaanza kujuana na watu, akaelewa hao watu ni watu, akaanza kuogopa, akaacha kuogopa, akakuwa lively sasa, akakuja tu polepole, ndio sasa akafika mahali ambaye hawezi ogopa. Kwa hivyo for now hakuna mtu anaogopa, hata kupigana kwa gari ako sawa sana. Kwa hivyo ukipata, ninaomba hao hii lika, mkipata watoto ambaye mnaona huyu mtoto ako na shinda, wacha kufungia huyo mtoto kwa nyumba. Toa mtoto kitu ya kwanza nje, apate jua, apate hiyo vitamin ya D please. Akipata hiyo, at least utaweza kuelewa huyu mtoto kama ako na shinda ama hana shinda. Wacha kuficha mtoto kwa nyumba, ninawaomba. Sababu huyo mtoto si wewe ulijipatia. Toa mtoto nje, uliza maswali, ukiona kuna kitu ambaye hauelewi, uuliza mwenye ako juu yako. Ule mkubwa kukuliko atakuelezea. Ukiona utaki kuuliza anybody, enda kwa daktari umuulize. Na si madaktari wote, sorry to say that, wanaweza kuambia shinda kuzi kama huyu wangu amenipeleka mbali, na ile maneno nilikuja nikapata mahali niko si ile maneno nilikuwa naambiwa. Kwa hivyo hata hao wa madaktari sijawalaumu, lakini si wote wanasemanga the truth. Tafadhali hebu jaribu kuuliza na kuulizia, usikae na yeye peke yako. Usione kama ni wewe peke yako unakuanga na shinda. Shinda ziko na wamama. Uliza wamama wenzako vile wanalea na vile watoto wanakuwa.
This is indeed an eye-opening interview. There's a lot I've gotten to learn about the various conditions that Furaha Center deal with. I got to meet the grandchild, and I can tell you for sure, she's such a jovial child, and especially if you're a mother, it's a child that is going to appeal to you. And it's if you visit Furaha Center and you get to see the kids that are here and you're a mom, it's definitely going to touch your heart, and you're going to see that it's not obvious for you to have a healthy child. So if you're out there and you have maybe a child that you feel there's something that is not quite right, you can always come to Furaha Center. We're also going to put in their contacts. You can reach out to them, talk to them, ask your questions. Just like the grandma has mentioned, don't just sit with a child and maybe you're even making the condition worse. I know we are all going to, it's a war that we all have to participate and fight stigma, because this is something that has been with us from the word go. Even the founder himself mentioned about stigma. It's something that we all have to join hands and fight. Furaha Center is a place that EEKS Living is definitely going to visit again, because I feel there's so much we have to talk about. There's so much we don't know. And I have to thank you, my viewers, for always being here, always participating and interacting with us. Continue subscribing, liking, and sharing. As now we've also introduced a new segment in health, and we are going to get to start talking about different conditions that affect us, and also bring in experts that explain these conditions to us. Thank you for always staying tuned. Continue sharing this channel so that we can reach more and more people out there. Subscribe, like, share. Follow me on all my socials, Rachel Shiko Moshina. We are going to put in all the information. As always, let's continue fighting our dreams. Let's continue fighting for our dreams always. And let's continue being our sister and brothers keeper. Barikiwa.
To EEKS Living, where we shine so bright. She goes the host, making everything feel just right. Love, laughter, and glow, that's what we're all about. Come on, join our family, let's read and shine. Games and challenges, exciting.